Candlepin Stars and Strikes is brought to you by the Thompson family of dealerships in Nashua, New Hampshire, and by Tri-State Megabucks and the New Hampshire State Lottery, helping New Hampshire schools one ticket at a time.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome into another edition of Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dick Lutz with Mike Morin, and today the Tournament of Champions begins. 6 of the finest Candlepin bowlers in the world trying to become King of the Hill.
And a lot more money than usual, Dick. $2,000 to the winner, $1,500 to the runner-up. Who are the 6 bowlers that you'll see in the next 5 weeks? From the bottom up, we begin with Craig Holbrook and Hugh Ferguson, who you'll see today. Next week, Dave Hodge. In 2 weeks, Jeff Surratt, Mark Gregory, and our top seed is Chris Sargent.
All right, let's meet our first 2 competitors in the TFC. First, our number 6 seed. He's from East Bridgewater, Massachusetts. Welcome, Craig Holbrook.
Powerful left-hander with 11 WCBC titles, averaging 130. High single 196, best triple 505, and bowls at Hanover Bowl in Mass.
And Craig rolled a 347 in his ladder championship match to earn the number 6 seed. He'll be taking on the number 5 seed from Hanover, Massachusetts, Hugh Ferguson.
And teammate of Craig Holbrook as well on Thursday Evening League. Averaging 120 is high single 212, high triple 486. Bowls at the Hanson Athletic Association in Hanson and the Hanson Bowladrome
and
as well.
He rolled a 359 in his ladder championship match to earn the number 5 seed. Craig Holbrook and Hugh Ferguson ready to go at it when we come back to Leda Lanes for Candlepin Stars and Strikes right after this. There you see the 6 of the fine bowlers that'll be competing in the Tournament of Champions. Over the course of the next 5 weeks, you will see some of the top bowlers in the world. Craig Holbrook and Hugh Ferguson this afternoon, Dave Hodge, Jeff Surratt, Mark Gregory, and Chris Sargent, all waiting in the wings, and we're ready to go with our first match in the 2005 Tournament of Champions from Leda Lanes. We have a great crowd on hand here today, one of the biggest crowds we've ever had in the time that Mike and I have been doing Candlepin Stars and Strikes, and they've been here since early this morning and ready to take it all in, and we're underway. Craig Holbrook gets us started.
I think the only crowds I can think of as being either larger or more rowdy would be when Tom and Mike Morgan bowl against each other, which, interestingly enough, happened 4 times over the last 8 years. I was just going through some records, and boy, when those 2 guys faced off against one another, or just even being in the same ladder, we had tremendous crowds.
Holbrook starts out with a 10 box. Craig from East Bridgewater, 130 average, high single 196, high triple 505. Bowling out of Hanover Bowl. The 5-7 still standing. He's still trying to worry it over. Craig works in fountain setup for the Coca-Cola Company. He and Rose have been married for 17 years. 2 children, Mara and Victoria. Mara is 14. She plays the flute in the school band, and Victoria is 10. And like a lot of other dads around, he lists as his hobbies that he's busy with his daughter's activities. You can relate to that. He starts off with 19. Now to the veteran Hugh Ferguson.
Hugh Ferguson qualifies as the oldest bowler that we've had over the course of this past season by only a couple of months over Bill Treefel. We'll run down some of the interesting statistics. Sometimes stats and numbers can paint an interesting picture, and we'll try to do that for you that we've accumulated over the last season and share those with you over the next 5 weeks.
Hugh from Hanover, averaging 120, high single 212, high triple 486. Bowling out of the Hanson Athletic Association and the Hanover Bowladrome. And he starts off with an 8 box. Hugh wanted me to say hi to his mom, Annabelle Ferguson, 96 years young, in a nursing home in Attleboro, watching Hugh bowl here this afternoon. And Hugh remembers when Mom took him bowling for the first time down at the Commonwealth Alleys at the corner of Commonwealth Avenue and Brighton Avenue in Alston. It was upstairs. And the first year he went, they had pin boys. The next year he went, they had pin setters. So progress was being made. And that's a while back.
I'm not quite old enough to remember people setting pins.
I do.
I mean, I know they probably were still setting pins when I started bowling in the late 50s in Detroit, but I don't ever remember seeing it.
Oh, he almost made the spare. Great effort. Actually, when I was a kid and down in Onset, Massachusetts, when we went vacationing one summer. They went to a bowling alley. I was really young, but I do remember they had pin setters.
And that would have been Candlepins, I would guess, right?
Yeah. A couple of open frames for Hugh. And an early 2-pin lead for Craig Holbrook. This is always an exciting time, the Tournament of Champions. Everybody looking forward to it, as you can tell by the great crowd here at Leda Lanes. It's a great first ball by Craig Holbrook.
Takes quite a windup, doesn't he? He's a tall, lanky guy, and he is the second winningest professional bowler in WCBC history, only behind Tommy Ulsta in terms of the men.
And he missed the spare.
He has 11 WCBC titles. Tommy Ulsta has 17 and 1 tie.
And he has to settle for the 10 box. You mentioned in our open that Hugh and Craig are teammates in the Thursday Night League, and Hugh came up to me before the start of the taping and told me that in his opinion, Craig Holbrook is one of the top 5 Candlepin bowlers in the world right now.
Well, certainly his statistics would bear that out in terms of tournaments won. Now, Craig is 43, which indicates that you can continue to bowl really well after you would think your physical skills would begin diminishing in other sports. Some of the better bowlers are guys that are well over 40.
We're still looking for our first mark. That's going to be a 7 box. We're looking for a spare. Can anybody find a spare?
Perhaps it'll be up to you and I as we begin showing our grudge match 2 boxes at a time for the next 5 weeks after, well, at the start of the 2nd string.
Here's a good first ball and a strike for Hugh Ferguson. Mike and I taped our match at the Rock and Bowl at Pilgrim Lanes in February, which of course raised funds. Here's Hugh on the replay, and a great first ball right in the 1-3 pocket. Great mixing action, and there they go, the 5-pin elastitopple. And the fundraiser for the kids to go to Canada. The kids have been to Canada and returned, and we have some information on that we'll pass along to you.
Absolutely. We also have Bowler of the Year and other information from the WCBC now that their 6 tournaments have completed for the season. So we have lots of bowling news and information to share with you over the next several weeks.
And we'll get to your cards and letters as well, and emails. Just a 6 in the strike. And that will be a 9 box. 6-pin lead for Hugh Ferguson over Craig Holbrook. Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua, presented by McMulkin Chevrolet, Nashua Mitsubishi, Nashua Hyundai, and McMulkin Cadillac, all part of the Thompson family of dealerships in Nashua, New Hampshire, and by Tri-State Megabucks and the games of the New Hampshire Lottery Commission, the New Hampshire Sweepstakes.
Would it surprise you, Dick, if I told you that scoring was down significantly in this past season, our 8 together?
Yeah, it would. What would be the reason for it, I would ask?
Well, that I can't answer, but I can tell you that this year, the bowlers in 144 strings averaged 4.14 pins lower than they did last year, and that is significant. Usually we don't see much more than 1 or 2 pins difference from year to year. 596 fewer pins dropped this year. Average pins per game less, 4.14. Average of the ladder winners was 132 to get into the Tournament of Champions. That was down 3.5 pins from last year.
Here's Craig Holbrook, and he missed another spare.
He's way off his game today so far.
Muttering to himself. Well, the obvious reason for the decline in the scoring is that the bowlers must have come off of steroids because of their fear of reprisal. A 9 box for Craig. Like the baseball players, of course, the bowlers are not as bulked up as they used to be. Hugh Ferguson on lane 34, half Worcester. The 2 and the 8, with everything else still standing.
We also have the winner of the Easter Sunday tournament that happened a few weeks ago here at Leda Lanes.
That was a great second ball by Hugh, and he got everything but the 7-pin. And it's a 10 box. Hugh won his ladder series, beating Sean McKinley, Joe Schifferdecker, and Ryan Tripp. There's a good first ball right on the head pin, but not much to show for it. The 3, 6, 10 on the right, the 4 and 7 on the left. No wood to help out.
Back in the old Channel 5 days, Hugh Ferguson was one of the winners of the high-low jackpot, which was always bowled at the end of the matches for big money usually.
Takes the 3 on the right. Just one mark through 6 frames in the Tournament of Champions. Both bowlers trying to find the range, and that'll be a 10 box. A 7-pin lead for Hugh Ferguson over Craig Holbrook in the early going here at Leda Lanes. Now Craig Holbrook on lane 34. The 5 still wobbling.
Now watch, this will be the one he makes after missing all the easy ones so far.
There's a piece of wood there to help out, certainly. It should send everything. Whoop, will it go? Yes, it will. There it goes. There it goes. We'll try to show it again, keeping in mind it's only an hour show.
That took forever, didn't it?
And that one took a while. Here's Craig on the spare. Right on the head pin. Puts 9 in the spare.
Funny how the energy level just gets that much higher after a spare like that and then a big fill.
Looking for 2 marks in a row. He's got it. So Craig Holbrook, watch the spare. There's the piece of wood out in front. Here comes the wood across, and watch the 6-pin slowly just trip out the 10-pin. So a couple of marks in a row. And now Hugh Ferguson tries to respond with a good first ball. And a 9-pin drop and a piece of wood to help out. So Hugh, reacting to the double mark that Craig Holbrook put on the board, tries to get one of his own. And there it is. There's one right there. That's a pretty good response by Hugh Ferguson.
You got here by beating Sean McKinley, as you mentioned, Joe Schifferdecker, and then Ryan Tripp back just 2 months ago to earn a berth in the number 5 spot, Tournament of Champions.
Seeds determined by the scores in their ladder championship match. There is, oh, he's looking for 2 in a row. He surrounds the 7-pin. Second time in a row, he's left the 7-pin. And another piece of wood there to help out. So he matched Craig Holbrook, mark for mark, in 7 and 8.
And a very easy spare, just want to stay away from the gutter.
There it is, 2 in a row. So both bowlers looking for bonus money. We give $50 for 3 marks in a row. Our triple strike jackpot starts the day at $625 for 3 strikes in a row. Now Craig Holbrook moves over to lane 34. A little thin, but it's still a good leave. Puts 7 in the spare. The 4, 7, 8. And he's got it. Kind of unconventionally, but he's got it. Played the 4-pin off the wall into the 7-pin and the 8-pin.
Dick, Craig Holbrook was the number 2 rated WCBC bowler of this year after 6 tournaments. They dropped the lowest one, so they really accumulate 5 total scores. And Sean Baker is the WCBC Men's Bowler of the Year. And second place, you're looking at him right now, Craig Holbrook. Not too many pins behind, actually. Well, about 106 pins behind Sean Baker, who led the pack this year.
Threw the ball right at the head pin, but could not pick up the big count. Put just 4 in the spare. A good second ball, almost picks up the spare. So $50 in bonus money for Holbrook. A 115 first string for the lefty from East Bridgewater. Now Hugh Ferguson will finish up the first string. He's working on 2 spares in a row.
Settle down a little.
Missed the head pin. Puts just 3 in his spare.
No, I'm okay there.
He's going to need a mark to take the lead in the first string. So he will be open in the 9th frame. He'll need a 10th frame mark to take the lead. Nine box, 103 through 9. Holbrook with a 115. So it'll be tight one way or the other after 1. Good first ball, just a little bit thin on the head pin. 3-6, 8-10. Wood between the 3 and the 6, it looks from here, just on the outside of the 3. Hugh Ferguson, very deliberate. He thought he had it. You could hear him say it when it left his hand, that he thought he had the shot. So Holbrook will lead after 1. And the lead will be 4. A 111 for Hugh Ferguson to 115 for Craig Holbrook. As we head to string number 2, it's the Tournament of Champions from Leda Lanes. In Nashua, New Hampshire, you're watching Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Every year, Michael and I compete in our Rockin' Bowl at Pilgrim Lanes in April. That's our annual grudge match, and there's Michael starting out.
With some promise, but
lovely form.
Well, thank
lovely
you.
Form.
That was not a 10 box, however. Look at that.
That kick, what a kick. Great turnout at Rockin' Bowl this year. We sent, what, over 100 kids to Canada.
Yeah.
And big fundraiser, very successful, and they always have a great time.
No, it was a 10 after all. I thought the ball went in the gutter.
So 18 through 2 for Mike. And now the stylish lefty.
This is our 6th year, by the way, and
that long?
Dick, you have the lead 3 years to 2. You lead the series 3 matches to 2.
Look at this. I should have made the spare here. Got robbed.
Well, you threw a 1 on the first ball. That's a tough spare to make. Now the second box, and you're
almost a strike.
Almost backed into a strike.
I know, and I missed the spare. Watch this. Watch this terrible shot.
I mean, this is embarrassing.
Brutal.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Just brutal. So Mike leads by 1 after 2 boxes. We'll continue next week. And we are back with the Tournament of Champions.
You know, last year,
trailing 115 to 111.
Dick, you had a 141 game last year. Is there any chance either of us will hit that this year?
I wouldn't bet on it. Hugh off the head pin, but he has a good spare leave here with the 1-2-4 with no wood. It just goes to show how fickle the game is. How you can get a 141, 142 one week, and sure. Oh, he missed the spare, missed the head pin. But we've seen that happen with the pros. We've seen him throw a 140 one string and a 95 the next string.
So it can happen to even these guys who are very much better at it than we are, as is pretty evident, I'm sure, as you watch. And every year I get collared by Janet Pock and Nancy Vestal. Oh, we got to give you some lessons, Mike.
You know, the thing that bugs me most about it is that I enjoy doing it so much, and yet I just don't get out as often as I would like. I wish I could do it more often. I really do love it.
It could be a little tough because you had a little injury during the winter with your leg after we did the taping.
We're going to be all right. We'll get back out on the lanes, start working up.
I don't know. It gives you an excuse about next year if you need one.
You were a little thin on the spare opportunity there and almost converted it. So he'll be open through the first 2 of the second string. Nine box. Craig Holbrook will start out on lane 34.
Bowler of the Year, 1997 and 98, as I mentioned, 11 titles, second only to Tommy Ulster in the men's division. WCBC 8th ranked last year. This year, number 2.
While Hugh Ferguson had to win 3 matches in his ladder to advance to the Tournament of Champions, Craig Holbrook only had to win 1. He was the top
who did he
seed,
defeat?
and he defeated Gary Babe Carrington. 347 to 328 back in December.
I saw Gary's father here today. I haven't seen Gary, so I'm not sure if Gary is here or not. A lot of the pros like to come and watch each other in the Tournament of Champions.
You mentioned the Easter tournament here at Leda Lanes.
I did, didn't I?
It's always a big event.
Yeah, let me shuffle through my reams of paper here and see if I have the results.
Well, Craig Holbrook punched right through the middle, taking out the 1 and the 5, and everything else still stands. And everything else still stands.
My. Ouch.
That was the perfect shot to pick up the 1 and the 5, but they weren't there anymore. Can he do it 3 times in a row?
Almost.
That's a 3-box. How often do you see that?
Well, watch our match next week. The Dick and Mike, you might see that. Hey, our winner of the Easter Classic 2005 tournament here at Leda Lanes for $5,000, the 20-string tournament, was the WCBC Bowler of the Year this year, Sean Baker. And I don't believe we're going to see Sean this year in the Tournament of Champions, but he won himself $5,000 at the 20-string tournament back on March 27th. Second place was our top seed in this Tournament of Champions event, and that would be Chris Sargent. Dave Barber was 3rd, Dave Cookie Richards 4th, and John Zappi coming in at number 5.
Oh, there's a great shot by Hugh Ferguson for the spare. You know, we talked about, if you grab those the Easter sheets out again, some of the scores. Chris Sargent came in 2nd. He's got a 151 in the 2nd string, a 98 down along the line. So it happens with some of these.
Sure.
There's no way to predict.
And he lost to a Sean Baker by 57 pins, so I mean about a 150 game would have won it for him. Dave Richards, by the way, had the high string for the day at 190. Wow.
Hugh puts 8 in the spare. So Hugh will take the lead back unless Craig Holbrook puts a couple of marks on the board. Piece of wood out far, and he makes the spare. Double mark for Hugh Ferguson. He had 3 marks in the first ring. They were not in succession. He had a strike in the 3rd frame and then spares in the 7th and 8th. Now Holbrook tries to answer. Good first ball. 5-pin still stands, and the wood is tough. If the wood stays there, no, the wood's going to roll away.
I think the sound of the crowd pretty much got that pin to move out of the way.
Now the 5-pin stands all by its lonesome, and there it goes. Good recovery by Craig Holbrook after a 3-box to put a mark on the board. Now he'll try to match Hugh's back-to-back spares. Missed the head pin, but a good 6-pin fall off the wall.
Very un-Holbrook-like so far today.
Open frame, he was right on the head pin, but straight through. So we'll go to the break with Hugh Ferguson in the lead. That's going to be a great 10-box.
Wow.
For Craig Holbrook, a great bailout, and a 5-pin lead for Hugh Ferguson as we go to the break from Leda Lanes in Nashua. You're watching Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Lutz with Mike Morin. Our entire crew here to bring you the finest Candlepin bowlers in the world. Kevin LaFon's our director today. Keith Webb's our engineer. Chuck Lothrop's on replay. Rich Burke on audio. Kristen Doobie's the timer. Steve Kenny's on graphics. Stephanie Harder, Larry Haber, and Tanya Parry are the camera operators. And they're making it possible for you to watch the Tournament of Champions from Leda Lanes in Nashua. Right on the head pin.
Stop chopping. I'll be all right.
Want to get to some of your cards and letters?
It's getting there. It's getting there.
Marie Kilmer from Rentham, Massachusetts, Michael, sent us a copy of a newspaper ad. Not an ad, a newspaper story from North Attleboro, Massachusetts, from the Sun Chronicle.
Is it about FICO's closing?
It is, yeah. Front page story, FICO's to end 69-year history.
Oh,
Big front page story and pictures of FICO's bowling alley.
I have bowled there, and not often, and I enjoyed it there. That was a great house.
69 years. And that's a shame.
Still having trouble locating the head pin. And then when he did a few boxes ago, he punched out the 1-5, and then on his second shot, did the same thing. Tough day for Craig Holbrook so far.
According to owner Paul Fico, a developer is coming in to buy the property and develop it into something else. And that is the nature of business today. That's right on the head pin, but look at this. Five, 7, 8. 5 and 8 go.
Our runner-up today, by the way, takes home $250, and the winner goes on to bowl Dave Hodge, the number 4 seed.
By the way, our email address, there it is for you to see. Here's Hugh right in the pocket. Love to get emails from you, and of course, the next time we'll be reading emails, it'll be the start of our new season. So we have plenty of time to hear from you and collect all of your emails. And there's the email address. Once again, as Hugh Ferguson makes this fair. If you'd like to send us regular mail, it's Candlepin Stars and Strikes, 50 Television Place, Derry, New Hampshire, 03038. And the bowling ball contest at the end of every show gives you a chance to be part of the action. Missed the head pin, but threw it into the second pocket and puts an 8 in the mark. You can send your postcard with your name, address, and pick a number of how many pins you would like our bowler to knock down, and we'll have a cash prize at the end of the show or a consolation prize from N&R Trophies in Winchendon, Massachusetts. It gives you a chance to be part of the action on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. And that will be a 10 box for Hugh as he was unable to convert the spare. 93 through 8. The door open for Craig Holbrook here. Mike, go ahead.
Sorry about that. Prize money is substantially more than the regular season. The winner of this 5-week 6-person ladder will get $2,000. The runner-up $1,100. Third place $800, followed by $600, $400, and today's runner-up $250 for 6th place.
Great time to be a sports fan in the state of New Hampshire. A lot going on. By the time you're watching this, the New Hampshire Fisher Cats will have opened their new ballpark in the city of Manchester, a beautiful new facility on the banks of the Merrimack River. The Manchester Wolves will have opened their 2nd season of arena football at the Verizon Wireless Arena. The Monarchs are headed into the playoffs.
And you were involved with the Wolves as well, right?
I am, yeah. The Nashua Pride is opening up again at Holman Stadium in Nashua. And the Tournament of Champions at Leda Lanes in Nashua. There's Craig Holbrook trying to get a break, not able to do it. He could use a mark desperately. Not going to make it, though. He's open again. Just one mark in the string for Craig Holbrook.
A 130 average for Craig Holbrook. High triple, one of the few, over 500 at 505.
So Ferguson's opened up a lead of 17 pins now with 2 boxes remaining in the 2nd string. Yeah, as you mentioned, I am doing the radio for the Manchester Wolves in their 2nd season of arena football. If you've not seen an arena football game, I would encourage you to come on by the Verizon Wireless Arena. Check out the schedule at manchesterwolves.com and find a home game that's good for you, and it's a great night of family fun.
Now, Dick, will you be traveling with the team for the road games as well?
I will, yeah. We got some great trips this year.
Where's your favorite city that you've noticed on the schedule so far?
I'm going to Green Bay.
I know what. What's your favorite city?
Well, going to Louisville, going to Memphis, going to
those two sound good.
Fort Myers, Florida. Here's a nice shot by Hugh Ferguson.
I have been to Green Bay, and even in the summer, it's about 35 degrees.
A lot of cheeseheads out there.
Cheeseheads for sure. Make sure you stop at the Vince Lombardi McDonald's right down the street from Lambeau Field. There really is one. It's a shrine to Vince Lombardi.
I've been known to hit a McDonald's or two. We go to Macon, Georgia. We go to Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Albany. Those are the road trips.
Yeah, what stations can we hear your broadcasts?
AM 1370 WFEA carries the Manchester Wolves game. Sister station to your home station, WZID 95.7 FM, home of New Hampshire in the Morning with Mike Morin and Nancy Robbins and Ed Bruder and a cast of thousands.
That's it. And occasionally you.
Another 10 box for Hugh. He finishes up with a 113. And an opportunity here for Craig Holbrook with a mark or two to make things really interesting heading into the third string. Good first ball. Tough shot coming up. Piece of wood helps out, though. Got the 3, 5, 6, 9. The wood is between the 6 and the 9. Really sets it up nicely. And he doesn't make it. Well, hold on. Nope. He does not make it. Hit it too thin. Really remarkable that he missed the shot.
Even with 2 opens, he's still 15 to 20 pins behind, and he's such an explosive bowler that he could just open it up next game and get right back into this match.
And 81. He's making us feel better about our grudge match.
I'm sure that makes him very happy. He was there that day, by the way.
Here's a good first ball and a break. There's a break for him right there.
It is intimidating to bowl in front of all these great professional bowlers, as bad as we are. But they're very supportive, and they give us a few cat calls and such, but that's where they get to get back at us for things we say about them on the show.
Oh, he got the spare. Look at how he made it, too. Look at how he made the spare. He had to get a little help. So Holbrook will, on the spare, he puts a 6 in the spare, and he finishes with a 97. A 12-pin lead for Hugh Ferguson after 2 over Craig Holbrook as we head to string number 3 from Leda Lanes in Nashua. You're watching the Candlepin Stars and Strikes Tournament of Champions. You get to look at some of the large gallery here at Leda Lanes. They're standing, what, 6, 7 deep here at Leda Lanes. The stands, the grandstands are full. The auxiliary seating is full. You're sitting down in the front rows, all to watch the Tournament of Champions from Leda Lanes. And Hugh Ferguson has a 12-pin lead over Craig Holbrook as we begin the third string.
We're having much better weather today, by the way, Dick, which probably helps the attendance. We had a terrible blizzard last month. Today, the weather's beautiful in the 60s.
With all of the wood he had out there, he didn't use any of it. He went right at the pin, right at the 3-pin, and nailed the spare. Great shot by Craig Holbrook to start the third string. So maybe that will give him the lift that he needs. Right on the head pin, but look at this. What a mess. The 4-7 on the left, the 10 on the right. 2 pieces of wood. One in front of the 4, one between the 4 and the 7. Not gonna make it. $10. He missed the head pin.
I think he probably knows in his heart that a 112 isn't going to be good enough to win this game and indeed this match today, because Craig Holbrook will come back and fire something better than a 97.
You think?
You know, if I was a betting man, and I have been known to be.
There is going to be a $9.
My thing is football and baseball wagering in Vegas. So, no, you're on your own for lunch today is the answer.
Half Worcester for Hugh on the left side, the 2 and the 8. So the door opening for Craig Holbrook. This is a good shot. Great shot. That's a great spare for Hugh Ferguson. He hit it right to the outside of the head pin. And the spare in the second frame to retake control of the match. Now Holbrook on lane 34. Missed the head pin. Threw a bad ball right there. just knocked over 4 pins. The 1, 3, 5, 6, 9, and 10 still standing, and there they go.
Beautiful shot. That's not an easy one to make.
Now his right to left action on that ball, put it right in the 1-3 pocket. Beautiful shot for Craig Holbrook. Second spare in 3 boxes. Missed the head pin again. Same exact shot. 4 pins in the spare. He made it before. Can he do it again? Goes to the outside this time. Watch out, it's not over yet. Nope, not going to convert this time. So just a 4-pin fill will not help Craig Holbrook right there, and that's going to be a 9 box. So let's see what Hugh does here as he works on a spare.
Chance for Hugh to start to put him away. Right now Hugh's letting Craig Holbrook hang around very, very close.
You saw the score here. Our fans at Leda Lane see the score posted on the board by Kate Nichols, who lets everybody here in attendance.
And is a fine bowler in her own right, I should point out.
Oh, he almost made the shot. He gave it a run. Trying to slide that 2-pin over into the 6. And he'll settle for a 9 box. Craig's picked up 6 pins, but he has an open frame here in the 4th. Missed the head pin. The 4 horsemen on the left plus the 9 pin in the back row. Piece of wood is angled toward the 9 pin from the 4 pin. That could help out. Let's see how he plays it. Plays to the outside and missed the head pin, so he'll be open. And things tighten up.
When we come back, I'm going to tell you about a big 20-string tournament where you can see some of the finest women bowlers in the world coming to Leda Lanes just a couple of minutes.
Nice 10 box by Hugh as we go to the break. It is a 7-pin lead in the match for Hugh Ferguson over Craig Holbrook. 6 boxes remain. Round 1 of the Tournament of Champions from Leda Lanes in Nashua. You're watching Candlepin Stars and Strikes. It's round 1 of the Tournament of Champions from Leda Lanes in Nashua. Dick Lutz with Mike Moore, and the winner moves up the ladder to take on number 4 seed Dave Hodge. And Craig Holbrook did everything but knock over the 7-pin. 7-pin moved off spot, and he's got a pretty good angle at it with a piece of wood in front of it. And the spare for Craig Holbrook.
Well, I mentioned the finest women in the world will be bowling here at the Alita Semino Memorial Ladies 20-string tournament. It's a scratch 20-string tournament that pays first prize of $5,000. It'll be the first Sunday in June. It's as comparable to the Easter Sunday competition for the men, although women may bowl in that as well. But they'll certainly fare better as they bowl amongst themselves. The entry fee is $150 the first Sunday in June.
Lita Semino was the mom of Ray Semino, the proprietor of Leda Lanes.
That's right.
Who does a great job here at Leda Lanes every day, 365 days a year. He just missed that spare. That piece of wood went flying over the 10-pin and just not able to nudge it. He'll take a 10 box. Ray and Sean Howard and the staff at Leda Lanes do a great job for our fans here at Candlepin Stars and Strikes. They were here early this morning for the taping to try and get their best seats. The coffee and donuts are here, and they accommodate them as best they can and do a wonderful job, and we appreciate their efforts. And they have a great bowling center here at Leda Lanes in Nashua, where there's always plenty of open bowling. If it's something you'd like to try and do, if you haven't done it in a long time, why not stop by Leda Lanes on Amherst Street in Nashua. If you're coming from the south on the Everett Turnpike, take exit 7W. If you're coming from the north, take exit 8, and you'll find Leda Lanes on Amherst Street in Nashua, open every day.
You know, the winter leagues are wrapping up now with tournament play and playoffs, so the summer leagues will be starting very, very soon. If you have any interest in trying Candlepins or want to get in a league, you haven't done that for a while, this would be a good time to ask about it here at Leda.
And don't let watching Michael and I try to bowl discourage you.
If anything, aspire to be better than we are.
Things are tightening up here. If Hugh does not mark in this frame, we will be virtually even.
He's going to take a look to see how the wood is lining up.
Taking a look at that piece of wood on the left to see if it's in play.
Taking a little abuse for that, too, from the fans here.
That piece of wood in the back, though, the 5-pin, there's not much room. He might be able to make it straight on right like that. No, he just missed it. Gave it a great run, and we are going to be just about dead even. It's a 2-pin differential right now. It's a 1-pin lead for Craig Holbrook over Hugh Ferguson with 4 boxes remaining.
These two gentlemen very well acquainted with one another as they bowl on a league together every Thursday evening.
Holbrook with the 1-pin lead, bowls first on lane 34, right through the middle. The spread eagle +1. You've got the 8-pin behind the 2 that's still standing. Oh, out of action. Look at this.
It's a lot of velocity with the big sweeping backswing way over his head.
And that'll be a 10 box. That's a great 10 for Craig Holbrook. Holbrook moving over to the left side on lane 33. Missed the head pin.
Oh,
boy, he's
my.
punching. He punched through the head pin last box. He's got a half Worcester this box on the right side. Look at this. Oh, the 10-pin still stands.
And I bet he considers himself very fortunate to still be in this match for as poorly as he is bowling relative to his average.
And that's going to be a 9 box. Well, here's the door open for Hugh Ferguson now.
The door's been open for both bowlers,
Yep.
and nobody's
walked through.
No.
Here's Hugh Ferguson.
We'll see Dave Hodge next week, by the way, and we can't tell you who he's going to bowl yet because this match is too close to call.
Oh, Hugh puts it right through the opening. This is an Alphonse and Gaston routine. Neither bowler wants to take charge of the match. I don't want it. You can have it. That's a good out by Hugh with an 8 box. He drops 2 more pins, so through completed boxes, a 3-pin lead now for Craig Holbrook. That's a good first ball, but right through the middle. Wow, spread eagle. This is really unbelievable, isn't it? Hugh needs to pin here now. He needs to clean up both sides. He just takes 1 on the left.
So Craig Holbrook with a couple of marks can take this thing home.
And that's going to be a 7 box.
5
The lead is
pins.
now 5 for Craig Holbrook with 2 boxes remaining. While winning the ladder championship during the course of the year, the 3-string total is significant because it determines seeding.
Sure.
They don't care what their winning total is here today. They'll take a 290 if it wins by a pin.
And today about a 320 is going to win it.
Holbrook again, a tough shot here. The 4, 7, 8 on the left, piece of wood, 10 on the right.
Wants to scatter him over to the right side.
Oh, they scattered, but they left the 10-pin still standing. Another open frame. 3 marks in the string for Craig. He'll take a 10 box.
But at least another 10 here forces Hugh Ferguson to throw at least 1 spare at it.
A mark would force Hugh to mark twice. Missed the head pin. The 1 and the 7 with some wood. Got to figure out the wood here. I don't think the wood factors in. Well, it doesn't hurt. Got to hit the head pin. That's the shot.
What a shot.
The ball, he didn't need the wood. He did it right on its own. He hit the ball, took out the 1, and the ball took out the 7.
What do you have, maybe you have an inch either way to make that with that angle?
So now Big Phil here really puts the pressure on Hugh. That's a Big Phil. That's a Big Phil and a big finish. 35 pins is the lead for Craig Holbrook. So he needs a double mark. It's not out of the question. He needs a double mark. 2 marks with 2 good fills.
And good fills, you're right. 8s and 9s.
That's a pretty good way to start. Could have used a strike.
The mighty skinny pin from 60 feet away with that much pressure, no matter who you are.
Missed it. Craig Holbrook will advance to take on Dave Hodge in round 2 of the Tournament of Champions. From Leda Lanes in Nashua, we will come back to meet our bowlers when we return for the finals. We'll talk to our bowlers in just a minute when we come back to Leda Lanes. Right after this, you're watching the Tournament of Champions on Candlepin Stars and Strikes.